Good morning, traders, and welcome to this week's weekly market analysis, Monday, the 6th of July. Before we get started, as always, please understand that any advice in today's session is of a general nature only and that your personal circumstances have not been taken into consideration. Before we jump straight into our analysis of the majors this week, just a quick recap on what happened last week. It was actually a little bit of a dull week. We did have non-farm payrolls come out on Thursday in anticipation of the 4th of July holidays in the US. It was a week that not much happened. The trading ranges were fairly narrow for most of the major currencies. And other than that, there's really nothing major to report on in terms of movements within the FX world. So having said that, let's jump straight in and we'll kick off with the Aussie US dollar. This is the chart that I'm looking at right now. When I look at this particular chart, let me just zoom out and show you a weekly chart for a moment. On my weekly chart, we can see that I've got this level here that I've already marked out for us. And then we had the COVID drama and basically quite resilient. The Aussie dollar has jumped back pretty much to pre-COVID levels. The question now remains, will we be able to get through this area and continue to push up, or will this act as resistance for us? So let me drop down a time division and go back to my daily chart. In particularly, I note we can see that the candles are starting to get a little bit smaller. It's a hard grind towards that 70 level. We did peak at around about 70 35 in that vicinity. So what I'm really looking at with this particular currency pair right now is I'm just going to mark out a little region and let's see if we can basically pull back and we fall through that, then we've got an opportunity to trade down. But I'm also going to look at that level itself, and as the market approaches that top line, I will be looking for price action reversal patterns to be occurring in this area. And if I do get a reversal on that, it's roughly around about the 70-30 mark, I will definitely be looking to be a seller and try and take advantage of that. All right, so my game plan for the Aussie dollar is essentially, let's see if as we approach that top level there, we're looking for price action reversal to see if it can fall back down. Now, should it not get there and straight away start to come towards this level, well then I'm looking to see if we actually break through cleanly through there for continuation downwards as a breakout type trade. All right, if I see it come up throughout the week, I will call it. So add this to your radar. That's our analysis for the Aussie dollar. All right, let's move along. Let's have a look at the Euro USD. Changing over my Euro USD, I'm on a daily timescale. I look at my charts mainly on a daily timescale. All right, I note I've already highlighted an area here where I feel the market is compressing, it's in congestion, and we really need to leave this area either in this direction or in that direction before the next wave or the next movements come along. Now, let me drop into a 4-hour time frame and have a closer analysis. There could be some opportunities to do some range trading if I figure out a level down here. Okay, if that market comes down towards this level and we can produce price action there. Now bear in mind I've just dropped down to a 4-hour time frame here, so if the market does come down, produces the price action reversal that I'm looking for, then it could give me an opportunity to take a smaller time frame trades in the upward direction. Likewise, I would look to do the same, but probably at around about this level here. If I had to draw my line, I would draw it about there. And I'm choosing that level because of this cluster there. I know we had these have not reached it, but this is the level that I'm looking at. If it was to come towards there, I would look at reversal occurring in that region to have an opportunity to trade down. So having said that, let me just adjust that box to cover the correct area that I want to cover. and let's make it as such around about there. So on a 4-hour time frame, if the price movements get towards this fringe here or towards that fringe there, I will look for reversal confirmation and then for opportunities to trade back inside that zone. All right, there you have it, and that's on a 4-hour time frame. When I go back to our daily time frame, you can see what it looks like. All right, so that's what the plan is for the Euro USD. Let's jump along to the US yen. Okay, US yen. I marked out this top resistance line, I think last week or a little while ago. It's a really nice solid line. It's picked up 3 points very, very cleanly. And what I'm looking at here is to see if it can get there again and then try and hit it off that line again. Of course, not just purely off the level. I do want to see some reversal confirmation to occur there, and then I would be happy to be a seller on the US yen. The other thing that I'm noting right now, let me just check to see how good this, if I draw a line across the bottom, that is a straight line there. Let me just make some adjustments. We're relatively close, picking up this point and this point. So it would also be valid if you comes here, look for reversal to go back up. However, on the downside, if the price was to drop down like I've just drawn it in there, and let me just get rid of my arrow so we don't confuse anybody. If it was to do that as I'm showing there, this really looks like that bouncy ball type scenario that I always talk about, where you have the balls bounced, it goes up, bounced again, bounced lower, goes up, and when that happens, typically this is what follows. There is a higher probability that this would follow rather than a bounce back. Okay, so especially when we've had three, if we get 3 peaks, like being 1, 2, and 3. All right. So if it does come to the bottom line, be flexible to the possibility that we could break down so that we could take advantage of the short trade. All right. Of course, if you do get price action reversal confirming there, it would still be a valid long. But I'll leave it up to you to decide which way you would like to go on it. All right. I can tell you that the bouncy ball type scenario, I'll talk about it not a lot, but more times than not, and it does have a relatively high probability type setup. All right. So the plan is, if it goes to the bottom line, look for the possibility of a breakthrough. If it goes to the top line, like up here, then look for a reversal to trade back down. Okay, there you have it. That is our US yen for this week. Let's have a look at the cable. GBPUSD. I'm on a daily time scale. I've been able to draw in a nice channel. I've got 1 touch down the bottom, 2, and I've got 1, 2 on the top side. Now, what I look from where the current price action is, ideally it would go all the way up to here, give us a reversal confirmation, and we just trade it straight back down. That is the higher probability trade from where we currently sit right now. It could, however, also just come back down now, and we could look for it here. This one doesn't look as pretty, but it would still be a valid trade. The channel, which is a rising channel or a falling channel with 4 solid touches like this one, is a relatively high probability type setup, especially when you get the price action confirming on the fringes, as I'm showing, as I'm indicating here by these little circles there. All right, so that's what I would be looking for on my GBPUSD. I would prefer for it to go up and then hit it from the top down. Okay, but if it does immediately fall down, I will still look for the opportunity to trade back up in towards the center of the channel. There you have it. That is our GBP USD. Kiwi dollar. Okay, I've already marked out the ranging section. It appears that the market is kind of stuck in this area there. Let me just jump into a 4-hour time frame and have a closer look. Okay, there we have it. Look, we are approaching right now this top level. Okay, so we're approaching this top level right now. So we may get an opportunity even today, later during the day. Remember this chart that right now is I'm on a 4-hour time frame here. I'll just highlight that to you. So this is a 4-hour time frame. So if I can get reversal occurring in this little circle, well, then definitely I will be looking to be a seller on the Kiwi US dollar, and that is on a 4-hour time frame. If I look at it on a daily, let's jump across. You could also look for it on the daily. Timescale depends what your risk appetite is. If you really want to get a trade off, we may be able to pick it up on the 4-hour chart later this afternoon or even this evening. All right, so that would be my game plan, to try and hit a trade off the top of that level there, finding reversal and then hitting it downward as I've just indicated as such. All right, let's have a look at the the US CAD. Okay, the US CAD is a little bit kind of in transition to me. When I look at this, my first reaction is, are we in downtrend? We made a high there, we pulled back, but then this high is actually higher than this previous one over here, which says to me, oh, is the trend breaking or is it not breaking? Now, I also note that so what's going to be critical here is to see if this current place right here, where the market is right now, if this can get lower than that previous low, well, then I would feel like, yes, the trend is still intact, and I would be looking for opportunities to sell into this market. So if that was to continue to get down there, then what I would naturally look for is rises, and in those sections there I would look for the reversal and then continuation down as I'm showing right now. All right, it's a trickier chart. It's not as straightforward as the other ones. Of course, this particular chart was a great example actually that I'm looking at right now of that bouncy ball. Oops, let me just draw this a little bit straighter. Of a bouncy ball scenario where you can see that the ball bounced lower, 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 and then straight down. Okay, so this is a good example of that, and I think we called this one out. This would have been about a month ago when we were looking at that, and it broke through. Okay, so right now it appears we are possibly still in that downtrend, but it looks like it may be reversing. So we need to wait and see if the current price action can get lower than this last low over there. Okay, all right, that's my thoughts on the US CAD. Let's have a look at oil. Okay, with oil, essentially we've filled this gap up. All right, this gap dominated the desire of investors. There's a lot of gap traders that just basically pushing to fill it up. That gap has been filled, so essentially now it's a question of, well, how much steam, how much energy, how much desire do we have in the oil markets after the crash that we had. To be honest, for me right now, it's a chart that I don't really want to participate. The candles are very, very small. There's not much movement. Look, I'm going to leave this one alone. All right. All I can tell you is that the gap is closed. We are at that top level. Can it fall back down? Possibly. Can it break through? Absolutely. Do I want to take part in this particular instrument? No. All right. So there you have it. Straight out, not looking at oil this week at all. Gold. What's happening with gold? Let me show you something. Let me step out to a weekly chart, and you can see clearly gold has been rising from around about 1100, or sorry, about the 1160, 1150 mark, all the way up to 1800. We did have this short period here, which was really didn't make sense. You know, when when the world is going crazy and fear is kicking in, more money should be moving towards your metals than away from your metals. So that didn't make sense, but it's been rectified. Okay, and it continues to go up. So looking at my daily chart, the trend is still intact. We've made higher highs. We've taken out those highs, and we are still seems to be climbing and intact. So the only thing that I could look for with this type of scenario is continuation of trend. Now, when the trend's been going for so long, it's only a natural human reaction to think it's going to turn around now, and we're looking to go in the other direction. Well, trade what you see. If it pulls back, gives you a nice price action reversal confirmation, well, then that is a single signal to continue into the trend. All right, so this one's very much in trend. The only thing I can suggest is if on the pullbacks, if you get the reversal in the correct spot, look for buying opportunities. All right, that's my views on gold. Let's have a look at the ASX 200 at the share market. All right. So if we look at the previous highs pre-COVID, okay, pre-March, we can see this is the levels where we were at. Obviously, we big sell-off, and it's been a steady grind. Okay. Now, what I have marked out for us is this level here, and let's see if we can break through that and continue in that direction, or can we produce a nice reversal on that level and look for a shorting opportunity. Okay, so my first instinct, if let me zoom in a little bit more on this chart. Oh, okay, sorry, let me go into a 4-hour chart. My first instinct is I'm going to look for a short in this direction. So if the market continues to go up, produces for me the reversal confirmation that I'm looking for, then I would be interested in shorting this particular market. Okay, so that is the clearest next trade available on the ASX 200, and I would jump into a 4-hour to take advantage to get a quicker entry, or even if I stayed on my daily, I still could get that opportunity. Okay, that pretty much wraps up the session this week. Let's have a quick look at what's coming up and what are the highlights for the week to come. We're actually quite light on data this week. We have RBA rates decision that happens tomorrow. So nobody really expects interest rates to change. I think we're more looking at what the statement will say, what will they give us in terms of indication towards the COVID situation, towards any mentions of the job seeker or job keeper packages or anything like that. Let's see what the monetary policy indicates, and particularly what's their intention towards further stimulus into the economy. Okay, so that's tomorrow, and then the only other bit of data due out this week, surprisingly low data this week, is the unemployment data from Canada. That happens, I think it's towards Wednesday, Thursday this week. That pretty much wraps up our weekly market analysis, guys. As always, if you have any questions, please get in contact with us. Follow me on Twitter at ChatFX for trade setups and breaking news. Most importantly, hope you all have a great trading day. Have a great week. I will speak to you tomorrow for the daily call. Bye for now.